Well, a video game too violent to be released, the highly touted Manhunt 2 has been put on hold after it was effectively banned in 2 countries, given an adults-only rating here in the U.S., and both Sony and Nintendo warning they would not offer it on their consoles. Is this the beginning of a wider backlash against violence in video games?
And now to this video game, so horrifying it has been banned in Great Britain. It is called Manhunt 2.
It is hard to watch. I had to put my hands up in front of my face.
Alright, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of Rockstar Studios. They are the same people who have made GTA, aka Grand Theft Auto, and Red Dead Redemption. That being Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2 in the prequel. And all I'm going to say is Rockstar has made a bunch of games. They are very well known for their games being edgy and pretty well made when it comes to story. When a lot of people think of a Rockstar story, they think of lots of explosions, a lot of emotional development, and a lot of, emotional moments. That is the same for Manhunt, but it is one of the more morally complex games, let's say. First off, let's start off with the intro of the game. We are met with a character named Daniel Lamb, and Daniel Lamb is a asylum patient, part of the psychopath branch of the asylum. Now, when we first see him, he is being attacked by a nurse, and there's a syringe inside of him, and he chokes her out, not killing her, but just her passing out. And in this moment, the doors open because there was a power failure, and this guy named Leo Casper comes out and tells him that he did it, which doesn't really make any sense because he didn't just magically open the door. But anyways, so right away, it shows gameplay right off the bat after this cutscene. And I can't really show it on YouTube, but basically what it shows is an asylum riot gone wrong. There's bodies everywhere. The place is a wreck, and a bunch of the cellmates are out. It teaches you how to go about stealth, and it shows you all the steps on how to do that and how to stay hidden in the darkness, because that's a mechanic of the game. But if you do not get past these people, someone either throws shit on you or they pee on you, kind of like that one scene in Silence of the Lambs that I cannot show on YouTube or even really talk about. But yeah, it's pretty disgusting. It's actually really bad. But other than that, it just throws you straight into the world of Manhunt 2. And that is when Daniel starts to do some very questionable things, motivated by Leo Casper. And while Daniel gets out and, goes in an elevator and there's decapitated bodies cut in half and everything like that, someone hanging himself, stuff like that, bad stuff like that. And he goes in this room, and it has the controls to open up the cell door. But one of the people, which I'm going to show on screen, was from the intro of the game, and your task is to kill him. Now, one of the main components of Manhunt 2 is you can choose how brutal the kills are, which means you can stay behind someone, and the more you do it, the more brutal the kill will get. Which means if your cursor is white, it's not very bad. Yellow means somewhat bad. Red means I shove a pipe down the dude's throat and I just continuously, throat fuck him with it. That is how bad the deaths can be, honestly. So after all of this, basically what happens is Leo and Daniel go to a bar full of perverts, and these people called the Projects are after them. It's not really explained what happens then, but it is explained because when Daniel and Leo are there, they find that people are sexually torturing people inside of this facility. And when this is happening, Daniel recognizes a girl from his past, and he is determined to find her, and he eventually gets to her, and she gives him a really stupid response, and that was,
"Want me to give you this, the old safe house. Safe house? Where?
Above the cinema. Don't come back here, Danny. Please, just let it go.
She's setting us up, Danny.
And at this point, she might as well have been, because the safe house was garbage. It was so bad. It literally looked like this. And look, after this mission, they go to the safe house, and it was a really bad safe house, and Daniel starts to have flashbacks of his past. Now, this is where things get interesting. And it turns out that Leo was never real. Whenever he goes out, he hears Leo in his head. It was never the two of them together. And after this, they go along and they find out that the projects are after them because of Daniel, because of just Daniel in general. And Leo is the one who is guiding him. But the weird part that the player faces when playing this part of the game is, why do people even know about Leo? Well, Daniel Lamb is revealed to have been a scientist working on a drug that can get rid of empathy. Now, this drug that he was making was called the Pinkman Project, and that is literally why they're called the projects. People coming after Daniel are called the projects, and they're trying to kill him because, well, this drug is so bad that it can make people psychotic. Now, the original idea of this, I honestly think, was so that soldiers can take it and have less empathy, but Daniel decided to take it himself, and it made him a psychopath. Or not really a psychopath, more or less just mentally ill. And this mental illness formed Leo in his head, a sociopathic assassin. And as the game goes on, Daniel goes and kills other people until he is eventually captured. And that is where you are at the beginning. You're at the beginning and you don't know where you are. But the whole game of Manhunt is literally you figuring out your identity and Daniel losing more and more of himself through violence and heinous acts that he is forced to go into. Mainly because of the fact that Leo sets him up in those situations. But it's still really, really bad. And you guys are probably wondering why this video is called Daniel Lamb being the most tragic character in all of Rockstar games. Well, I'm about to get to that right now. So from everything I told you, Leo is controlling Daniel. His actions, it's controlling all of Daniel. And he struggles throughout the whole thing. And Daniel isn't just mentally unstable. He's a man whose entire life was destroyed by an unethical project that he made himself. Or that he didn't make himself. He tried to help people at the Pinkman Project, but he became their victim. His memories, his family, and personality were erased, and they split his mind into two halves. And that is obviously, Daniel, himself, in the suppressed moral half being Leo. He didn't choose to be a killer himself. His own experiment forced him to do it. And he's both a victim and a monster himself. And honestly, based off of what I played, that's what I think makes Daniel's tragedy the most effective. And he becomes the thing that he hates from everything. Daniel in the game was always hesitant on killing. He always was. From the very beginning of the game, he even throws up when you kill a guy in the very beginning. And it could be a mild death, it could be a brutal death, and it can be a violent one. But yeah, he throws up and he hates it. But Leo from the very beginning convinces him to do all these heinous acts, and it's pretty bad. And Daniel spends the entire game fighting his own darkness. Every single bit of violence he commits in the game, he goes into a further pit of darkness. And you see that through all of the missions. Throughout the sexual deviance mission and throughout the missions where he was having just flashbacks and he was just Daniel Lamb, he was being forced to do the worst types of things. And he was always under Leo's influence. And this isn't a normal Rockstar game where it's Arthur Morgan riding off into the sunset. No, he literally cannot escape from this. He's literally in his own personal hell. which is part of the reason why this game is so messed up in the first place, because it isn't really the gore that really gets it. It's more of just the bleakness of the story that's really like this. And the thing is in this game, there really is no true victory in Manhunt 2. There really is no true victory. In the very end of the game, there's two endings. Either you go and stop Leo, and that's it. You stop Leo, and Daniel regains control. But Daniel is mentally scarred. Like, he's just a broken person of who he once was. It isn't just like, I got rid of that side of my brain. No. You're still cooked. You still did all these things. You still remember the tens of like the 50 people you killed. Like, you still remember that. It's still like engraved in your head that you did all of these horrible things. It's just that Leo isn't there to control him, which I guess is good, but like, he still has to live with the unforgivable shit he has done. And there is no redemption, there's no peace, there's no going home. It's all pain and confusion, and he even forgets his name again. And last of all, the system made him a killer. The system that he was a part of made him a killer. Because he was a part of unethical science, government manipulation, and the fragile psyche of human identity. And this makes him less of a criminal, unlike GTA, like Franklin and Michael DeSantis and everybody else that Rockstar has, because Rockstar usually makes games based off of criminals. This is more of just someone who is living in their own hell, like I said many different times. And he's more of a tragic experiment gone wrong, which is probably one of the worst things that can ever happen, honestly. In comparison to other Rockstar games, I'm going to go and compare Arthur Morgan. Arthur Morgan had moral redemption before death, and he recovered spiritually. Michael DeSantis had midlife guilt and family lies, and he recovered somewhat throughout the whole thing. He recovered kind of. Depends on the ending you get. If you get the ending C, he recovers pretty well. But yeah. Nico Bellic, a darker Rockstar game, GTA 4, he managed to recover pretty well at the end of that. He was the Russian guy who had to go on all those wars, and he struggled a very long time. And Daniel Lamb, his identity was erased, and he was manipulated into murder, and he can never really recover from this. It's total loss. Leo caused him to kill his wife. So yeah, he lost literally everything. Leo is the biggest piece of shit ever, basically. And last of all, this is all notes that I wrote that I'm talking about right now. Last of all, if Rockstar ever wanted to revisit Manhunt, Daniel Lamb would stand out as the embodiment of Rockstar's darkest storytelling era, where violence isn't empowering, it's a trauma made flesh. But yeah, that's really it. Daniel Lamb is one of the characters that you can never really forget because of just how much he suffers. And because unlike all the other Rockstar characters, either they die with some sort of peace, or they just find some sort of peace, like Arthur Morgan or John Marston. Their purpose was fulfilled. Daniel Lamb has no purpose. His purpose is literally just his own suffering. So yeah, because he has no more purpose. His children literally saw him slit his wife's throat. So yeah, he basically lost all purpose. So that's what makes his character the most tragic, because he just has nothing really else left in life. But other than that, this was a character analysis of Daniel Lamb. If you guys enjoyed these different types of videos, please leave a like and subscribe. That'd be greatly appreciated. But anyways, this is Hot Venom, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace.